For the September safety presentation, we will focus on distracted driving, but first, let's review some important information. The Employee Health Questionnaire is a great tool that allows the company to know the status of all their employees before they come into work each morning. It is very important that you do not forget to do this, and that you also ensure that you complete the questionnaire before you actually come to work. To access the questionnaire, you simply go to www.cultsexcavating.com. Once you've accessed the website, if you're using a mobile device, there'll be 3 white lines at the top right of the screen. Then you'll click Contact, and then you will click Employee Health Questionnaire. The only difference with the computer is that you will not have the 3 white lines at the top right. You'll simply go to Contact and then the Employee Health Questionnaire. Be advised that if you do click yes on any one of your answers, it will advise Rick Snyder, Doug Maciejewski, and Kevin Hausner in the safety department, and we will be responding by giving you a call. We are currently in the 7th month of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it is important that we remain vigilant. So if you do feel sick and you're at home, stay home. Don't come into work. Then you want to complete the Employee Health Questionnaire, and then you want to contact your supervisor. When you complete your questionnaire and you have symptoms, it will notify the safety department, and then we will contact you and direct you to contact your healthcare professional, because we are not healthcare professionals. At that point, your healthcare professional will determine whether or not you need a COVID-19 test. We will never direct you to just take a COVID-19 test. Following that, we will need a doctor's note if you did have a test showing that your test was negative, or a doctor's note stating that a test is not necessary and your symptoms are not related to the COVID-19. You will not be permitted to come back to work until you are cleared to do so by the safety department. If you are at work and you feel sick, leave immediately. Don't talk to anyone. Don't go up to your supervisor. Get in your car and leave. Then you want to complete the Employee Health Questionnaire, and then contact your supervisor to notify them why you left. You will then receive a call from the safety department and follow the exact procedure if you are at home. If you are directed to take a COVID-19 test by a healthcare professional, you can either take the test at the clinic that you are at, or you can use these 2 resources to find another clinic. You can go to michigan.gov/coronavirus, or you can dial 211 on any phone and provide your zip code, and they will tell you various locations where you can get a COVID-19 test. If you need any help with this, feel free to reach out to the safety department. Before we get into the distracted driving video from our insurance company, I wanted to review the company vehicle cell phone policy. Crash test studies have identified the actual phone conversation that someone has is the real distraction, and not holding the actual phone to your ear. So cell phone use is only permitted when a vehicle is stopped. So do not take a call when you are driving. If you do need to take a call or make a call for any reason, pull over to a safe area and make your call. Next, do not text while driving. This is a state law and company policy.
Driving. We all do it just about every day, whether it's on highways, rural roads, and residential streets, or in the city. Did you have a collision today? Probably not. The odds are you won't today. But depending upon the choices you make, the odds may not be in your favor in the future. We mention choices because that's really what it comes down to. Will you choose to obey traffic laws and operate your vehicle safely? Or will you choose to take a chance which could have grave and long-lasting effects? You decide. One of the choices you can make is to minimize or eliminate distractions while driving. We realize that in our modern world there are many distractions which we cannot avoid, but there are many we can. That's what this program is all about. because statistics show that 80% of all crashes and 65% of near-miss crashes involve some type of distraction. Nearly 6,000 people die annually in crashes involving a distracted or inattentive driver, and more than 500,000 are injured. Using a cell phone while driving, whether it's handheld or hands-free, delays a driver's reactions as much as having a blood alcohol concentration level at the legal limit of 0.08%. Drivers who use handheld devices are 4 times as likely to get into crashes serious enough to injure themselves and others. Distracted driving has become an epidemic. For this reason, we'll take a look at some behaviors you should avoid and choices you should make to help minimize your risk on the road. CDs, MP3 players, radios, air conditioning, heater. Great modern conveniences which make your ride more enjoyable, but they can be distractions which take your attention off the task at hand, driving, and compromise your safety and the safety of those who share the road with you. You may be very familiar with the controls on your radio or CD player, but it's a good idea to set these items as well as other devices like climate control knobs and mirrors prior to beginning your trip. Taking your eyes off the road to adjust these devices can be a distraction, putting you in harm's way. Now, you might be saying, it only takes a second or two to adjust my radio, but think of it this way. In the 2 seconds spent changing the station on the radio, your vehicle traveled 165 feet. A lot can happen in 165 feet. That's 12 car lengths, or half a football field. It's the same thing as closing your eyes for a full 2 seconds while driving. It's not a good idea. That second or two can be the difference between life and death. You decide. But let's be realistic. Even if you set all the controls before you start traveling, eventually there'll be a need or you'll want to readjust. Can it be done safely? Here are a few tips. If you're traveling on a highway and need to make an adjustment, make sure you have plenty of space between you and the car in front of you, about 6 to 8 seconds. To check how much space you have, pick a mark on the road which the car in front of you is heading towards. When the car hits the mark, begin counting. 1001, 1002, etc. And keep counting till you hit that same mark. Add more space for inclement weather, nighttime conditions, construction zones, or other hazards. The more space between you and the car in front of you, the safer your cushion. Although increasing your following distance will lessen your risk, if you're driving on city or residential streets, you should wait until you are stopped at a traffic signal or stop sign and then make the adjustment to your radio. It could be anything, a clipboard, a beverage, a laptop. It's just out of reach, but you can just look down for a second and grab it, right? Of course you can. But would it be the right choice? Again, anything taking your eyes off the road, even for a few seconds, can and will put you and others at risk. Wait until you reach your destination. You'll survive. If you can't wait, pull over out of traffic to a safe stop and retrieve the item and then continue. Many of us feel overworked. There are never enough hours in the day, so we work behind the wheel. Big mistake. Work orders, receipts, laptops, phones, or anything else that takes your eyes off the road. Think about it this way. If you have a collision and the few minutes of work you squeezed in aren't going to make much difference in comparison. While in your vehicle, driving is your job. Do your job. Do only your job. Eating and driving. What's the big deal? Studies show 74% of drivers reported eating while driving. Well, there are several dangers that eating behind the wheel can cause. You should be familiar with your company's policies and consult your supervisor in regard to eating while driving a company vehicle. If your organization does not have a policy on this matter, it should be noted that just like any other distracting behavior, eating while driving can compromise your safety, and you should encourage your company to develop one. Remember, when in your vehicle, driving is your job. Some distractions last only a split second. Some last much longer, and thus present even a greater hazard. For instance, grooming or putting on makeup while driving. Do you really think someone can get their makeup kit out of their purse, select the proper makeup, and put it on their eyes and pay proper attention to the road at the same time? Think again. Groom, makeup, whatever you need to do it at home before you leave, not on the road. A map, a menu, a book, a magazine, all great things, but in a moving vehicle, they are a disaster waiting to happen. I'm sure you've seen it done and thought, I cannot believe that person is doing that. Make sure you are not that person. As we mentioned earlier, using a cell phone while driving, whether it's handheld or hands-free, delays a driver's reactions as much as having a blood alcohol concentration at the legal limit of 0.08%. And drivers who use handheld devices are 4 times as likely to get into crashes serious enough to injure themselves and others. How important is that call? It seems obvious that dialing a phone number while driving, or checking the caller ID display, or looking to read an email or text to see who is trying to get your attention distracts you from your primary attention, which is the road. But if you have a hands-free device, that takes care of the problem, right? Well, no. You see, the conversation itself is also a distraction. In fact, studies have shown hands-free cell phones distract drivers with the same occurrence than if they were holding the device. Many states now have laws against cell phone use while driving. But if cell phone use is permitted in your state and is not prohibited by your company's policies and procedures, here are a few tips to help minimize risk. First, you don't have to answer every call. You can let them go to your voicemail. You can retrieve messages when you reach your destination or have stopped at a safe place. But if you must use the device while driving, keep the conversation short and to the point. Or if you need to make or take a call, pull off the road into a parking lot or other safe place away from other drivers. This will allow you to focus completely on the call and not jeopardize the safety of other motorists. This will also increase the productivity of your call, as you'll be able to focus, take any notes, and reference any documents which may be necessary. Texting. Do we even need to go there? We've all seen it done, or perhaps done it ourselves. Texting takes your eyes off the road. By choosing to text while you drive, you are choosing to put you and others in a deadly situation. Make the right choice. Never text and drive. Onboard computer systems, tablets, iPads, or laptops can also pose a significant risk to a driver's safety. If you think you can operate a computer while driving and still devote your full attention to the road, you're sorely mistaken. Any type of electronic device requires your attention. Attention that should be focused on driving safely. Resist the temptation. Make safe choices. So, we've talked about potential distractions inside your vehicle, but what about potential distractions outside your vehicle? Pedestrians, unfamiliar routes, poor weather, signs, construction, and others. Let's take a look. Pedestrians. Not only do they seemingly appear out of nowhere at times, they're often unpredictable. They too may be distracted. Remember, just because you can see them doesn't mean they can see you. That's why you need to be aware of areas pedestrians may be lurking and be prepared for the unexpected. Areas such as parking lots, shopping complexes, schools, or business parks are common areas. But even in areas outside of where you expect them, always yield to pedestrians. When driving in areas with high pedestrian traffic, keep your eyes moving. Survey your surroundings every 2 to 3 seconds. Be aware and expect the unexpected. By reducing distractions, you are better able to focus on the hazards outside your vehicle that you can't control. You can save yourself a lot of unnecessary stress by pre-planning your route and thoroughly reviewing maps to your destination prior to your trip. Pre-planning will alleviate many distractions associated with navigation, but no matter how much we prepare or how well we think we know the area, we may still get lost, and trying to find your way can be very distracting. If you're lost, don't try to figure it out on the road. Pull over and find the correct route before continuing. Being lost is bad enough. Being lost and then being in a collision is even worse. But you have a GPS, so you won't get lost, right? Maybe. A GPS is a great tool that allows us to navigate and keep our eyes on the road. But make sure you program your GPS before you start traveling, because trying to input or change information in your GPS while driving is definitely a distraction. Inclement weather isn't usually a distraction in and of itself, but situations which can arise from poor road conditions and the actions and reactions from other drivers can be distracting. In inclement weather, slow down and focus all of your attention on the road and other vehicles around you. Signs and billboards are designed for one purpose, to get us to read them. But whether or not you do read them is your choice. Even a simple billboard can divert your eyes from the road for a number of seconds. Again, taking your eyes off the road for even a moment can and will put you at risk. Remember, when you are behind the wheel, your job is driving, not talking, not reading, not typing, not texting, driving. There's a lot riding on your abilities as a driver, your safety, your passengers, the safety of those around you, other vehicles. They all depend on you and the choices you make. As you've seen in this program, there are many, many distractions you have to contend with as you drive in our modern world, and it's just not going to get any easier. Distractions aren't going to just disappear, but you don't have to let distractions compromise your safety. You can stay focused. You can drive safely. You can avoid collisions. We all want to be safe on the road. Control distractions or let distractions control you. It's your choice. Make the correct choice.